What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flux Harmonic. I'm David Wilson, and we're back again with another live stream for the August Lisp Game Jam 2023, where we're working on a Solitaire game using the Guile Hoot toolchain, which is a Scheme to WebAssembly compiler. We're writing the game kind of half and half in JavaScript and Scheme because the Hoot toolchain is not so far along yet that you can write everything in Scheme, but it's far enough along that we can actually write quite a bit of the game logic in Scheme, which I think is pretty exciting. So today we're going to get back to the work we left off with the last stream, which I think was on Wednesday. So I've skipped a couple days just due to various things that were going on, but I have spent a lot of time in the meantime working on the visuals of the game, and I think it looks quite a lot better now than it did the last time you saw it. So we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll also try to work on the finishing up the game logic so that it's possible to either win or lose the game depending on how you play. And once we have that sort of end-to-end flow done, then we basically got a complete game, and we just need to put the additional polish around it to make it submittable for the competition. Now, I don't actually know yet. Whoops, I'm spoiling it for myself here. I don't know yet when August Lisp Game Jam 2023. Okay, I don't know exactly what the last day of this is. Oh, cool. Looks like I come up in the search results for that. Can I see, what if I go to David's page? Does it say anything about his, where is it? Okay, let's just type in the URL. What is happening? August Lisp Game Jam 2023. I'm trying to find out what the actual deadline is for submissions. Are we serious here? We can't actually find it? The search is that bad on this website? Hold on a second. Alejandro, hey Alejandro. Alejandro says, you've become a default reference. Yes, of course. Hello to Yanal Plays. It's going good, how are you? August or October? Damn, you're right, Alejandro. So it's been a busy week, and I'm a little bit sleepless. It's not August Lisp Game Jam, it's autumn. So if I were to type the right word, it would go directly to the page. Submissions are due in 1 day, 16 hours, October 30th at 6 a.m. And today is the 28th. So I have 28th, 29th, and 30th at 6 a.m. I still have some part of Monday to finish things up a little bit if I want to, but I probably won't stream that. So today and tomorrow will be the last days that I actually stream for the competition. And we'll just try to get as much done as possible, just so that someone can go to the game and learn how to play it, and then play a couple games, maybe enjoy it, and then that's it, you know? I mean, maybe they'll come back and play it more, who knows? My intention is to play it myself because I like playing Solitaire just sort of as a time killer, and I've always wanted a Solitaire that I could control with a keyboard, like Vim-style home row keys, so now we're gonna have one. I'm actually thinking, you know, I started on Flux Harmonic maybe last year sometime working on a Mahjong game that has a similar idea where you would control it using the keyboard. I'm starting to think that maybe it might be cool to eventually make like a full game that has different game modes like that, like Solitaire or Mahjong or other cool sort of minimalistic games that you can sort of play while your mind is doing something else. That's usually how I use these games. I'm just sort of clicking around in Solitaire while I'm thinking about something. So it might be cool to have a game like that that's made for people like us who, you know, just like a little casual gaming while letting the mind wander. Hey, Dave. So, what happened since last time? I did a lot of work, a lot of hacking around in Inkscape. In fact, if you want to look at the Inkscape file, I kind of just, you know, started learning Inkscape pretty well, and I had my original mock-up here, but I started taking all the pieces from the mock-up and trying to get them in a consistent size. Also creating actual paths for all of the numbers and letters for the cards so that I can have consistent sizing for those, because I'm trying to have like a resolution independent rendering in the game, and it's hard to do that with fonts. You can do it with everything else if everything else is rendered with SVG, but as soon as you try to render text with a font, then things get a little bit out of alignment. So to combat that issue, I made actual images for all the letters and numbers. I made them for both colors as well, which I think there must be a way to tweak the color of these things when you're rendering SVG, but I haven't figured it out yet. So I've kind of duplicated these assets for now. Also, the card back image, which I think is kind of cool looking, and then the faces for the different royalty cards. I don't know what you call those, but the Jack, Queen, King. So it's King, Queen, Jack in this case. So that's the art for the game so far. One of the other really cool things about Inkscape is because I've named all of these objects, I actually was able to create a script to export all of those, so I don't have to go clicking around in buttons to export my assets. So now I just have this simple bash script where I say, okay, I want all of these IDs to export them as individual SVG files, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just telling Inkscape at the command line to export these SVGs as plain SVGs, and that's basically it. You end up with a big folder of files, and they're all, about 2.5K each, which is not that bad, compared to images. I don't know if a PNG would be smaller than this, though. It could be. Well, maybe not. Maybe PNGs would be bigger, but at any rate, it exports all of those things that we saw in the Inkscape file, and then I can load those up in the game, and it looks like this now, which I think is pretty nice. I got the icons rendering for all the images, for all the numbered cards, and then if I were to find one that's a king, you can see the king crown there. Also for ace cards, it just takes the same icon for the suit and scales it up. So overall, pretty cool. I think I'm pretty happy with how this looks. This is the first game jam I've actually done more than completely basic art for and actually integrated it into the game. So this is a step forward in my game jam existence, which I think is pretty cool. And I think that going forward, I'll be using Inkscape for all the jams that I do, just because it's so much easier to work with. I'm not really a pixel artist. Pixel art is, it's hard because of the constraints and because you can't really treat things like objects, but with vector graphics, it's easy to treat things like objects. So it's easier for me to wrap my head around. And there's some really good resources out there to teach you how to use it effectively. Like Logos by Nick is the name of a channel that does really good Inkscape tutorials. So really cool tool, enjoyed using it, and I'm looking forward to doing some more work with it on future game jams. So let's see. The code for the rendering of the faces is kind of hacky. It's not Scheme, it's JavaScript, unfortunately. It's not hacky. It's not as elegant as I wish it would be. But basically, I've just got some hard-coded patterns with column positions and a big case statement that has, for the different numbers of icons that could be in any given column, just sort of what the positioning of those would be. And I just render everything like that. So it does the job. I think that ideally I would pre-render textures for all of these different cases into memory and then just render those textures instead of doing what I'm doing now, which is literally rendering all of these individual SVGs every time that the render loop ticks. But it seems to be doing fine so far. It's not killing my CPU, so not too bad. Okay, let me check on my computer for a second because something is eating my CPU. Proced. Chromium, why? Okay. Alejandro says, hacky is the inverted root square of Doom, Quake? I don't know. Yeah, I think it was Quake, right? Like the inverted square root that they were using for their, I guess, ray casting, effectively. Alejandro also says, Inkscape is cool. I like it better than GIMP for most things. I use GIMP quite a lot for like thumbnails and whatnot, but Inkscape has been nicer. And lately, I don't know if it was something they fixed in more recent versions of Inkscape, but in Geeks, it would not scale to high DPI for the longest time. The icons were super small, all the UI was super small, but now it's all been fixed. I don't know if they updated to the newer version of GTK or something, but it looks much better now, so I feel a lot happier using it. Dave also says Inkscape rocks. Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. Dave says, for pixel art, I've moved from GIMP to LibreSprite. So LibreSprite is cool. I like the idea in theory, but they've stopped updating it. Like they forked from Asprite, and then they didn't do anything else, I think. They're like working on a different pixel art editor now, which I think is kind of weird. There's another one that's a free software pixel art editor called Pixelorama, which is kind of cool. I've used it a little bit. And okay, cool. They're still hacking on it, which is great. Let's see. Last week. Cool. Yeah, it seems like there's still some activity there. This is a nice little project, and it's on Flatpak, but I'm guessing that since this is Godot, they could build it on Geeks as well, but this is also pretty good. But yeah, pixel art, I'm not so good at it, and I think it would take me a lot longer to get good at pixel art compared to just doing vector art. So that's why I'm kind of sticking with that for now, at least. We'll see. Maybe the kind of games that I want to do, you know, vector art is good enough. All right. So what I want to do today is get back into the scheme code and start working on win or lose states for the game so that you can actually play it and win or lose. There's another thing too that I forgot that we need to implement that we should probably do, which is the ability to select cards higher up. Did I kill the Chrome? That's cool. Localhost. All right. To select. Whoa. This is the wrong one. Oh, I got to run it differently. I forgot. Let's see. Chrome. There it is. I have to run with a special command line argument to make it render right in Wayland. Here we are. Localhost. There we go. All right, now that looks better. Anyway, what I was going to say is we need to make it possible to select cards higher in the stack. So like if you want to move this 9... Is that right? If you want to move this 9 onto the 10, you should be able to do that, I think. And then, yeah, it doesn't have to be in order. So you should be able to select that card, and you can't currently do that. What I would like to do is, and I started working toward that, I think, is just make it so that if you press the same button more than once, so handle selection. Hey, Christine, nice to see you. If you press the same button more than once, it will walk up the stack. So you can sort of press like A 3 times to go up the stack if there's 3 cards in the stack. So let's see if there's already a selection, if the pile plus index is the same, increment the offset. So if not equal, let's see. I think I haven't actually implemented that part yet. This won't be very hard. Oh, you're making pixel art for Dave. That's nice. Lucky. Let's see. Let me just redigest my logic here. So if the selection target is none, then set the selection. That's easy. Alejandro says, my daughter loves to play with Krita. Yeah, Krita sounds like a really cool tool as well. I haven't really used it at all, though. Okay, so this is the case where it's not none. There's already a selection. So we get the selection target. We say what the target is. Then we do an if. If it's not the stock, then we previous selection, current selection, clear the current selection, we move the card. Okay, so here's the point where we need to do a bit more work, I think. Maybe we need a cond. Target stock. Hey, Glenn. And then just move this logic in there, I believe. Okay. But that's not the only one. We need to see if the target is the same as the selection target of the current selection. So if those two are the same, then we need to increment the index. Now there's one thing that I haven't added yet, which I do need to add, and that might break things a little bit. Actually, maybe it won't, because I kind of planned for this by creating these other functions here. Define selection, offset selection. So target index. Can we do optional parameters? I wonder if it's possible. I don't want to do the... I forgot the syntax. Guile optional arguments. There we go. Do I need to pull in a different module for that? I don't want to deal with those. Optional, yes. Keyword, no. Do I need to use a lambda star? I mean, I could just do this. But that's kind of janky. Maybe it doesn't matter that much, though, because I'll just pull the front off of it. So, lambda star. Let me do that instead, then. Define star, cool. So I'll try that. Should I just leave it? You know what? Let's do this a more concise way to guard against trouble. I mean, no, we don't even need to do that. Just let it be false. I suppose I don't need the make selection then. Okay, so handle selection. This is going to be a nightmare of editing. So we're doing pile selections. Trying to think of the right approach. I should have handled this before the stream, but I didn't think about it. Maybe. Let's just cruise through this as fast as possible. I'll also try to, you know, make this easier to replicate. So we don't have to sit here and watch me edit the whole time. I know I got a typo in one of those symbols. Whoops. All right. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's for all the piles. That's all we needed. But I guess we should do the rest of these too while we're at it. Watch this. Is it gonna work? Oh, magic. Okay, so that's better. We got make selection here, a little bit of an API. I suppose handle selection could have taken that, whatever. So now that we have make selection, we need to update these functions. So this is still fine, car selection. This needs to be a catter because we're not using a const pair anymore. This needs to be a cateter to pull out the third value. Cool, so what should we do here? We were back in the handle selection logic. Okay, so let offset be selection offset selection. No. It needs to be current selection, right? Current selection. In fact, how can we do that effectively? Alejandro says, do you hate editing a lot in Vim? Does Emacs break your fingers? Try changing to VS Code, the modern editor with a lot of features like the ability to run JavaScript. Imagine the thrilling of coding with it. The feeling of coding? Yes, I know you're not a bot, but I admire the joke. We have a commercial happening in the chat right now from Alejandro. Okay. Right, I need a way to set the offset. So let's make a new function, define selection, set selection offset. I'm not gonna put a bang on that because this is actually gonna create a new list. So list, car, let's do this. Selection, target. I don't like mutating lists, so let's just make a new one. That's good enough. So selection offset, let's just go back where we were. There's that. Typo. Okay, so now that we have the offset, we'll set selection offset, selection offset 1, set current selection. All right, that should be enough. So we also need to communicate that offset back in the game state in this funky function where we're sort of writing everything out. So which one is our selection? Current selection. We should write out the offset as well. And that will only be used for piles, but let's just put it there anyway to be consistent. So if pair current selection, selection to string, selection to string, okay. Okay, it's right here, number to string, also number to string, or, you know what, selection, offset, selection. Let's go here, selection, offset. Let's just return a 0. Or set a 0. Let's just do it here instead. Okay. So back to selection of string, selection offset. Ooh. That was a bad little issue there, index. Okay. Selection target, selection index, selection offset, good. That should all write out correctly now. We need to recompile the code. Let's just see where we get with that. We should be able to tell from the state writing. Oh, okay, got a little boo-boo already. Hey, can you scroll a little bit? Come on now. Car, wrong argument in position 1. Interesting. Question is, what part of the code is that coming in? It must be the initial, let's see. Oh, you know what? All of this stuff needs to be updated. So none dot anywhere I've got a selection, I need to go update it now, or I'm hard coding it a little bit. Should also probably make a reusable variable for none. That should do it for now, though. Make selections unbound. Whoa, hold the crap. What the hell happened? 137. Course, okay. Can't do it if it's not there, eh? Let's say list none 0 0. And then 137. Make selection. Did I? Okay. Let's see, which one did I miss? That one. Okay. Seems good now. Thanks, Alejandro. Okay, so now we have in 0 0. If I press D, hello, D, D. Okay, I can see, so right down here, it may be a little bit difficult to read this. No. In the output, you see P21. If I press D again, if it lets me. Oh, it's probably writing out. I'm just not seeing it. P23, P24, P25. Okay, I need to cap that based on the number of cards that are currently in the stack. That's a little bit annoying. Handle, selection. So for the current pile, I need to get the length of the current pile. Whoa, prelude, define length. Is there a list length? Right there, okay. So if length wait, so we already have the offset, so we have offset. No, wrong. Selection index, current selection. Yeah, there's a couple things we need to do. We need to make sure it's not a pile also. That's right, we need to make sure it is a pile. So we've already checked, no. Yes, we've checked the target. So if the target is a pile and the length of the stack in the pile is less than, oh, I need to check the current offset selection. Oh, we already have the offset. Cool. So if offset is less than length, maybe we should say offset +1. Because we don't want it to be equal to the length, because that will mess things up. So if it's less than the offset, otherwise maybe let's let it cycle back. Huh? Okay, so if offset 1, length. So if offset +1 is less than the length of the current stack, otherwise set it to 0. Oh, I haven't. Wrong. That's right. Okay, so that we got that. Less than already checks that it doesn't reach the length. Yes. If less than, man, sorry, I'm losing my mind a little bit right now. If the target is pile and the offset is less than the length, then increment. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. Just gonna shift this around a little bit. It's looking a little bit gnarly right now. All right, so if it's true, then we increment. Otherwise 0, okay. Make sure that all matches up. All right, cool. So now, sweet. Now that should work. Yes, and if we move any cards, I think when we do move card, it also resets the selection. Or any kind of input will reset the selection. Yeah, let's make sure that doesn't actually happen. All right. Didn't expect to be working on this right now, but I forgot that we needed to do it, so. All right, let's say F. 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 So 0, 1, 2. So 3 it should not go to. So maybe maybe that +1. So if offset +1 is less than length, then increment the offset. Otherwise set it to 0. It's weird that Oh, I'm doing it for F, which is the 4th. Yes, Christine, I actually do plan to do that. And that would help because I would not have made the dumb mistake I made right now. The logic is working, actually. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, and then for the other stack, it's 0, 1, 0, 1. Cool, it is working. I'm checking the target. Yes. Okay, so we got that done. Now I just need to display the selection state. So let me just add some code in the JavaScript for that. Draw card is the place for that. So in options, highlighted, I do have some code for changing the fill color, which I haven't used yet. So now that I have the offset, I need to read that offset value in. Get game state, update game state. All right. Where? So apparently I read the selection in, and I never actually read it. Okay, that makes sense. So I need to pull the selection out from the end. Whoops. So once I have the selection, I should be able to factor that in with the card drawing, because the client just draws things. It doesn't actually do any logic, so it just needs to know what the selection is currently. So I will take the selection, interpret. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Actually, let's not call that location. Let's call that selection target. So we need some state for that too. Where am I storing the rest of it? Piles, foundations, drawing cards, stock state, let current selection equals undefined. But the selection itself will probably be an object where there's a target, same as before, target index offset, let's say. So target, yeah, we'll see it when we put it in. So current selection. Let's call it undefined. Let's just always put it back to undefined to start with, and then we can do a switch on selection 0. Case not n. We don't want n. We want p. That actually is kind of a problem. We may need to write out a period. Or not. Let's see, let's see. So we have case P. Const offset equals substring. I can't remember the syntax. JavaScript substring. Okay, so of selection dot substring. So we'll be starting at character 2. What the hell? I also forgot the JavaScript string to number. You would think I'd remember this stuff. Is parse int? Okay, parse int. We're just going to take the end of the string there, 0, 1, 2. So the second index is the index. But that number would never have 2 digits because there's only an index for like 1 to 7, let's say. So index offset. Probably let's do this. Don't really need the none either, do we? What about when you have already moved most of the cars from king to say 3? That's what the substring here is for. The index won't go there. The offset will, though. So that's why I'm parsing the rest of the selection string on that. I think there's another way to do this too that could be easier. So const index. No. Char to target equals P is selection target. So we got char to target. Now we can just use char to target for selection of 0. We don't really need that case statement. And then we can do it that way. And in fact, we could probably, instead of having 2 states that are possibly none, I could just always set it back to, well, let's do it this way to start with. So draw card. Every time we call draw card, so when we draw the stock selection character, which is this one, we also need to set whether there's a selection. Current selection. I wonder if that Elvis operator works in plain JavaScript. We'll see. Current selection target equals selection target dot stock. No, it's not selection, it's highlighted, right? This needs to be blown out a little bit. I need to install Prettier on this machine to get a bit better syntax highlighting going on. Okay. We can try that, see if it works. Okay, what did I break? Care to target is not a function. Care to target, sure, it's not a function. It's a dictionary or an object. A. All right, so now if I press H, okay, so yeah, we're not gonna use yellow for the selection color because it's hideous. Why is selection staying on the stack? That's not right. Okay, obviously I need to change my logic a little bit, but that's okay. Let's start with this. Let's get the other ones rendering correctly. And we'll also tone down that hideous color, I think. So for other calls to draw a card, foundations. So this one's going to be highlighted when current selection dot target selection target dot foundation and current selection dot index is equal to I plus 1, I think. Yellow, yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Alejandro, actually. So change that yellow to like a dark cyan so that it looks sort of like the outline color, but darker, so that maybe it sticks out, but it doesn't look too out of place. So yeah, I like that idea. Let's put a comma there. So if I press one of the, okay. Cool. Since there's no card there, it doesn't actually render anything yet. Do I have something I can move there now? No. Let's see if I can find an ace. There we are. So if I press H, yuck, U, no, didn't work. Okay, I must have broken something in the logic. Something is definitely not working the same way. Let's use L, U. Okay, a broken card movement. That's fun. So if equivalent target selection target current selection, otherwise if the target is stock, can't move a card back to the stock. I must have swapped something around. Okay, yeah, I must have screwed that up. What do I do? Does else work with cond like that? Or is it just T? Oh my God. Lispy, you're killing me. Okay. Let's put this right here. That should fix the problem, I think. Let's go back to compilation buffer and then recompile. All right, so I can put that 6 on the 7, so FJ, no. This is some weird stuff going on with the offsets. Okay, that worked. Now if I select the foundation card No, it didn't work. FOO. All right. So I think I'm using zero-based indices. So in the JavaScript code, I need to go back and not use +1, just use I. Yeah, that's right. I'm using zero-based. All right, cool. So that should work. Now let's also go to the piles. And for every draw card call, we're also going to throw in a highlighted. So if current selection is index, yep. And then also if current selection offset is equal to J. Yeah. That should work. So if I press D, no, it didn't work. 0, 1, 2, that should have worked. Highlighted, oh, nope. Nope. Pile, okay. D, backwards. That's interesting. I think I should do a reverse on that. Num cards. And then, ooh, no, not equal either. It needs to be greater than, right? Less than. So if offset is, yeah, greater than or equal to, we'll see. All right, so D. That's not right. Oh, it is right because it cycles back. Okay, so then F. All right, so that is working. All right, let's fix that color because it's a little bit hideous at the moment. So for the card outline, we're using the color board color. No, not board color. Let's go look at draw card. Draw card, we have, oh, just cyan. Fine. If I go into Inkscape, I can pick cyan. Let's just draw a little rectangle somewhere. Or I can just do this. Let's tone it down a bit. Maybe that's noticeable enough, we'll see. So now I'll drop this right here. Add the little hash on front. And then reload the page and then press F. That looks pretty good, right? That's that stands out enough and it doesn't really clash. Maybe it could be a little bit brighter. Let's try that. 54. Clashes a bit more. See if we can go in between. Three E. That's fine. Okay. Good enough. All right. So we've got selection working to the extent that we can understand what's happening. Now we should integrate that into the logic of the game also. So if I were to take a look at this, I should be able to move this 6 onto this 7. I currently cannot do that. So that's going to be K. Unfortunate string of letters. Then I would press 6, and it should move all those cards over there, but it doesn't currently do that. Now, also, I see that it seems to be retaining the offset whenever it moves a stack. Sorry, whenever it moves a selection, which it should not do that. And I don't know why it did that, to be honest. Not a huge issue. Let's get the stack moving first. So, move card. So this is more than pop and push card now. Not only do we need to pop and push the card, we need to deal with the range on top. So it's almost like we need to return a const instead of the card itself. So if I pop the card, I should return the card plus all of the stuff on top of it. Cool. Don't do that. Okay, so that would work if pop card can take the, where are we? Car source, car dest. Yeah, we should not do that. So move card, I believe is giving selection. So let's use, oh, that's even wrong. That's probably why card movements aren't working right now. Selection, target. Hey, Kites. What kind of game were you working on? All right, so we got find card also. Find card. Selection target. Let's using that at least. Car foundation. Handle pile offset. So find card. Huh. Simple 2D game to test animations and jumping. That's pretty hard to pull off from scratch in a week. Hello to whomever has a name in Cyrillic, and I can't actually read it at the moment. All right, let me think for a moment. Hey, Benoit. So yeah, it's not just car anymore. Find card. Yeah, I think it should return a list. Source stack, even. Yeah, because I can return the top of that one. Let's make this a let star. If source stack otherwise false. Okay, so now we have source stack. We don't need the pop anymore. Come on now, pop card. Yeah. It's unfortunate that the YouTube chat is not showing up on the stream overlay, because it just looks like Akites is talking to himself. What? Did I delete something just now? What the hell happened? Whoa, 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 whoa. Something very strange just happened. I jumped back way far in the past. Okay, now I'm back. All right, so we have source stack. This isn't really moving us closer to our goal of being able to win the game, but let's see if we can get there. At this rate, I might not finish it either, so don't feel so bad at kites. All right. So source card, desk card, we have both of those now. I also have the source stack. If I can pop card, source, stack. Hey, don't do that. Lispy. You're gonna give me an aneurysm. So I don't really need to do this part anymore. Put it back like this. Source stack, pop card, pop card. Now, if it's a pile, it's not so simple anymore. We're gonna have to search for the const pair. And then, yeah, we're gonna have to reconstruct the list. So can I use a fold for that? No. Is that what fold right is for? No, it's not gonna work, is that? Oh, yes. So it recursively goes down on the right side, right? All the way to the bottom, then back up. And X is so for any item, I can return whatever I want. So fold right could work in this case. So I want to set the value of the pile to fold right lambda. The Alejandro says it's true. You have your own Lisp REPL in your mind. I don't know. Do I? Yeah, I should actually use a REPL, but it's not so easy at the moment. All right, so fold right. And the F is receiving the seed. The seed gets returned, so that's going to come up on the right side. So that's the accumulation value, and the left side is the current item. So item accumulator, I believe. So if selection, no. That's not gonna work. Yes, I am trying to move selected cards from one stack to the other, which is not in itself a hard operation, but I'm just trying to like pop the cards off of the original stack. Putting them on the new stack is easy because you're just, you know, appending two lists. Hold on. It's a stack. It's not a list, so it's in the reverse order. Yeah, so actually it would be going forward. It's not a fold, right? It's a normal fold. Maybe if I'm looking at the offset here, still feels. Yeah, so I have to do the same thing in both places. Not the greatest. Christine says, I still like smart parens. I haven't really used smart parens that much. I probably should. All right, so we have the selection. What is a fold, precious? It's a higher order function for accumulating a value from a collection of values. Smart parens is like par edit, except it tries to be optional. Yeah. I think that's what I want, because Lispy is nice for some things, but then if you start pressing the wrong key at the wrong time, then it starts deleting your entire code. So that can be a lot of fun. Hello to N-Me Marie. Okay, trying to think how I would approach this. So I'm going to loop over the list. This is also a fold, basically. Gotta remember the right syntax again. So head, tail. I gotta remember the right positioning. When you do B, shit and 3 for loop, Lisp AST editing. I've got another fold somewhere else. Index string, card string. The second value is the accumulator. Okay. Okay, so for this, it is card, sub, stack, stack. Okay, we got a bot in the chat. Fantastic. Yeah, definitely bots. Man, Twitch is just riddled with bots. YouTube had a big problem with it too, but they seem to have like capped it a little bit. Okay. So for each item, we're looking for a particular offset. I should also keep an offset value. Is there an index? No, no index. I'll just store my own. No problem. Is 0. Gotta love doing a set inside of a functional operation. Ah, Lispy. Whoa, that was too much, man. What the hell? All right, so the fold won't work either, though. Ah, screw it. I'll stop trying to be clever so we can get this done sometime today. Okay, so I need the const pair. The const pair would just be the list. Yeah, okay. So selection, index, selection. Cool, cool, cool. Now my brain is starting to rematerialize. Vector ref piles. So let's start with that. Index is 0, so if equal index offset, I don't like this being here, but you know what, we'll just do it the less than efficient way. So if index is equal to selection offset selection, or we can even say less than, eh? Then loop, cooter, substack, Is this the right way? The answer to that question is no. So coulter pile, then const. Oof. I don't like calling a pen like this. This is gross. And that's not going to work either, is it? Yeah, the selection is an offset. Christine says, I used to be intimidated by do loops, but now I love them for certain kinds of things. Yeah, like I just like labeled loops so much that I don't really use do loops that much. I should use them more though. And to answer that question, let's see. I don't see do in here. But I don't know if the Guile compiler is taking care of that. Well, let's not change the code there. Define star syntax. Maybe the Guile compiler does that. Let me just go back to what I was doing before because I need to refresh my context a little bit. So when I'm moving a sub stack, Alejandro says, what is the implementation of seek, keep, and Emacs Lisp? Yeah, we could look at that if we have to. Uh-oh. Sorry, folks. I don't know what just happened. It's like the internet blipped out for a second. Or maybe it's, what you call it, restream. That was weird. Okay, let's get back to work. Because we're running out of time here. Man, I really wasted a lot of time today. I didn't mean for it to take this long to do just the stack selection and movement. But I forgot that I needed to do that. So that's where we're at. Scale down. Yeah, you may have to refresh the stream or go back to the little wheel at the bottom and select 1080p again, which I just had to do myself. Something recursive? Yes, technically that's what a loop syntax and scheme is. I guess that, yeah, direct recursion is a little bit different. All right. That's actually not a bad idea, though. I don't like doing normal recursion though. That requires returning a value because then they can't be tail recursive. So I try to avoid that in Scheme. But in this case, it's not a big deal because you're not going to bust a stack on a pile of cards. So maybe it's fine. All right, so dest is, yeah, gotcha. Pop card. If I just put that source, pop card, it's already a selection. Maybe that's the way it was before. Let's just continue the stream for another couple of hours. Dude, I wish I could. I would, but I can't leave my wife with both the kids while she's also trying to bake things for my daughter's birthday. So I would do it otherwise, but I gotta make sure that I help out downstairs in a moment. Okay, so pop card source, pop card. That is a good idea about using recursion though. I'm sorry, I can't read your name. If you could tell me how I would pronounce it. It looks like Biov, but that can't be right. Okay. So for popping a card, it's easy to pop off a foundation or a stock because it's just at the top of the list, but for a pile, we have to go the mish. Okay. All right. So in this case, we're just trying to get down in the list. Mouse. Ah. Do a little inline function call here, maybe. I mean, at least for this one, it's fairly easy. Because I just move the head forward until I get rid of the cards, right? I want to pop off a certain offset. If the offset is 0, I just take off the top card. Index is 0. If index is less than offset, then loop. And just pass on the offset as well. Otherwise, return the cooter. Ooh, I also need to be, yeah, doing this here as well. I think that's it. Let's get rid of this this deal here too. All right, so the algorithm is I take the pile, the list for the pile. The topmost card is the top of the stack. Start with the index. Start with the offset. As long as the index is less than offset, so let's say if offset is 1, then I call loop again. I increment index to 1. I take the remaining items from the list and then pass along the same offset value. Otherwise, if the index is the same as offset, I just return the cooter of the pile, which takes off whatever the topmost thing is. So if index is 0 and offset is 0, we're automatically going to pull the cooter of the pile. So that's the base case, and then anything after that should also work the same way. So that works to set the pile to whatever's remaining. Find card probably is a similar thing. We're just sort of searching through the list. So do I really need it? What's find card do? If find card only returns a card, then I'm just getting the information. So it's not like it's having to do anything that special, right? I just return the car instead, right? Okay, yes. Yeah, so if offset is 0, I return car. That's the only difference in the two algorithms. With mind REPL, yes. I can't tell if you're making fun of me, Alejandro. All right, fine, pile substack, goodbye. You're not needed. I think we're good. Let's reload the code. Example. Do we have an example? Yes, at the very end here, there's a 5. I can move on to the 6. So let me see if L can go to K. No, I don't know what that just did. I think that it moved the selection instead of trying to move the cards. I need to write some output. Also, I can't see anything here. Move card. Let's try that. Oh, I need to, ooh, I didn't recompile the code. That would explain one part of the problem. Ah, I made a mistake somewhere. Card stack. Push card. Ooh. Scheme is not so bad. I mean, it takes a little while to get used to the way to think in Scheme. Is definitely more of a functional programming style, even though you have, you know, mutable state that you can mess with. I kind of feel like it's like the good middle ground between pure functional and imperative coding. So let me think. So push card is the one thing that could be more of an issue. I didn't think about that one. Pop card could still return what I've accumulated so far, because right now it's not returning anything. So I could just accumulate a list of popped. Let's do that. I think that's where I was going. Yeah, Kite says small functions, that helps a lot. Yeah, it does help a lot. So in the loop, cooter pile. I can do a const on this, which is a little bit risky since it could be treated as a list. I mean, I could do values. Can I do values in Hoot? Yeah, looks like it. We'll see. So cooter pile and popped. You know what? Let's just, you know, keep this simple. We're gonna reverse popped, and we're just gonna push things onto that list. So popped is the second thing. Ooh, my loop is not good. I need to be keeping that in order. The fuck? All right, so cooter pile. I don't know why it's not happy. So we got offset, we got index. Popped is also going to be const of car pile with popped, right? So that works for pop. I need to check find card as well. I think I screwed that up. Yeah, the pile needs to be the first one. Boom. Okay. So now we have that popped list. We're going to reverse the pop. We return the values, but pop card, we need to, ooh. Okay, that one's fine. There is a way, let values, Guile, let values. Is it there by default? Hey, Thunga. All right. I need to find some way to deal with values. I don't know how much of this is coming from actual Guile macros. Oh, call with values. That's the backwards though, right? Handling multiple values are values and call with values. Call with values combines a procedure returning multiple values of the procedure which accepts these values as parameters. Okay. Will call with values pass through the return? All right, so in this case, that's fine. All right, so values 4, 5. We got a function that returns values. In this case is lambda pop card source. And then we have another lambda that should deal with it. And that's going to be the pile and the popped cards. Oof. Wait, hold up. No. I don't need to do values. I just return the popped values, right? So no fancy magic needed. Okay. All right, fine. Jeez. Push card, selection card. Let's say cards. Const card. Ooh, we gotta put it at the front too. Yep, that's fine. Instead of const, we just use append. Let's be consistent. Even though you can't push cards to foundation, let's just be consistent. Push card. Make this a list. And then that should also work. All right, I hope this works. We don't need to begin anymore here. Let's just get rid of that. Okay. Oh, I didn't recompile. Where? I saw it just now. Card, right there. Pushing the foundation. Cards. Okay. Now, let's give it a little shot here. I can move... nothing yet. Let's refresh. Nothing there that I see. Nothing there. 5 onto 6. So if I start at, what is that? J? No. Before, yeah, J. Oh, what's happening? Okay, good. All right, so J to, I should be writing things out too, so that I know what I'm looking at. To S. Something weird's happening. All right, I got to do some debug statements here just to understand what's happening in the selection logic. So handle selection, that's sort of the key location where things could be going wrong. I don't see moving card getting written out anywhere. Am I doing cond right? Scheme cond. Yeah. Yep. Should be fine. There's an else case. Am I doing that wrong? So let's just try to move anything because something isn't working the way I expect. So we're gonna move F to K. That should have worked, and I don't see any output. All right, so selection and target, we do see that. That's being written out here. We hit this cond. If equivalent target, the current selection target. Ooh, I can't, no. Okay, I think that's the problem because it's not just the target we're looking at. It's also the offset has to be different. I think that's part of the problem here. The index. Yep. That's probably the main issue here. All right, let's move this 4 to this 5. Just a mundane example. Boom, boom. Oh, not in the right focus. Oh. All right, so that was, wow. That was bad. Totally broken. All right. Eight to 9, so that would be JS. Value failed to match. Valid move from pile to pile. All right, so we're calling push card. Now let's see what the popped cards are. I didn't recompile. All right, 10 to jack. That would be JF. Hello. Unspecified. Yeah, unspecified. The function didn't return something, so popped cards. Pop card. How would it be unspecified in this game? Oh, because it's a vector set. That makes sense. Let. Ooh. Okay, yeah. Here's what I was missing before. I think this is why I got confused. Whoops, reverse popped. And then this needs to actually return the cooter of pile. Yep, okay. That's why things are busted on this one. I don't know if the other one's gonna have a problem too. Oh, I also need to... Yeah, and then at the end of this, after the vector set, I need to return the popped cards. Not the pipped cards, the popped cards. All right, here we go. It does look huge, doesn't it? That loop could probably be its own function. Okay, so 5 to 6, that would be, I think, KF. Valid move from pile to pile. An empty list is what got returned from popped cards, which is not right. Reverse popped. Oh, I did not actually const the car. Ooh. It feels a little bit wrong. Should I start this at -1? So that this doesn't have to do anything special? How about that? Because we want popped to be set with something, right? So the first time it goes through the loop, it needs to go through completely. Index will always be less than 0. So we do could or pile. Okay, that looks right. Try it again. Okay, so there's 8 to 9. Boom. All right, that worked. That did seem to work right. Let's see, is there anything I can move that is a... I can move this 7. Let's see, F, F. I move the 7 to A. All right, so that didn't work. Invalid move from pile to pile. That the cards, no, it didn't disappear. It's still there. So that's a 7. Interesting. So 4 of hearts is what it's comparing, which is wrong. Four 1 is correct. I think find card is not implemented correctly. Maybe the same thing needs to be done here. No, maybe not actually. So car pile, if index is less than offset. So let's say, let's mentally walk through this. Index starts at 0. We go through the first list, we say could or pile, index 1, and we go through the second. Now there's gonna be index 1, offset 1, which is equal. It's gonna return the car of the list. In this case, it didn't seem like it did, because I have the offset set to the 7 of something, it's red. Is the list still reversed? Well, I don't think it matters just yet, because, oh. Yes. That's a good point, Alejandro. That's a great point, actually. So when we call find card, aha. Find cards is returning the card, though. It should only return the one that we're looking for. So if it's 0, it returns the first thing. Yeah, so something's wrong here. In this case, I would expect this to return 7 of something, but it appears to be returning the first thing on the list, which is the 4 of hearts. So you see the H4. Damn. Let's just do a little bit of debugging. I know it'd be great if we had a REPL here. All right, so looking for a good candidate. Okay, here's a 6 to go on that 7. So if I press L, 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 and then D. Find. All right, so, okay, I see find being called. 1, 2. Yeah, 6 of hearts on that. And I want to see what it returns at the end. Oh, hold up. Man. See, this is what happens whenever you do really stupid things. You leave lines of code in. Sometimes being an expression-based language can be a liability rather than a help. Because I left the car in, so we did all that work to loop through the list, and I still returned the first thing in the list. All right, there's a 4 here I want to put on the 5, so we'll press F, F, D. Hey, it worked. Cool, so now that's working. Let me see, what else can I do? There's a 3 here. I want something that's a little bit further down than the stack. Oh, there's a jack. Okay, so let's move this jack to the queen. What's that? J, 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 F. All right, cool, that worked. Anything else interesting to try? There's an 8. Yeah, there's an 8 to go to the 9, so K, 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 D. All right, seems to be working, right? I don't know about edge cases. Maybe things will blow up if I start moving things around a little bit too much, but that does seem to be working. Okay, so we've got, let's say, about 20 minutes left. Let's think for a moment about how... Okay, it's easy to know how you would check if the player won the game. You check to see if all the piles are empty. Because there's no way they could all... Well, okay. All of this needs to be empty and the stack needs to be empty at the same time. Certainly you could check to see how many cards are in each foundation, but I think that it's quicker to check for empty stacks. So define, and we're not going to be able to play through a winning game on the stream, I don't think. It's going to take too long, but check win state. So let me just write down the logic steps here. So loop through all piles, check if empty, and then check if stack is empty. So if null stack, if drawn card, or is it drawn cards? Drawn stock. Yeah, it gets set to an empty list. I should probably do that here too, just to make sure I don't do anything stupid. Let's just be a little bit consistent. All right, so if both of those are empty, and then also, let's see. Is there like a vector fold? There's a vector for each. Vector map, vector append. Okay, there's a vector to list. I think that's it, right? Make vector, yeah, all right. So vector to list on piles. Yeah, it sucks to have to convert that every time though. Just a lot of waste, I think. And vector for each, what does that return? Oh, this one's calling vector to list anyway, so that's kind of pointless. This is also converting to list. Okay. Then we're going to do a little internal loop. If less than index vector length, Yeah. Piles. Wait, I already know how many piles there are. Because it never changes. It's 7. So if index is less than 7, we're going to loop. And we need to pass the result. We don't need that. In Lisp, lists are first-class citizens, not vectors. Well, vectors are also actually first-class citizens in Scheme. There's even syntax for inline vector declarations. I mean, I don't know if Guile supports it, but in theory, you're supposed to be able to do something like that to make a vector. Vectors are important because that's where you get more of your performance from, especially like byte vectors if you want to do low-level byte manipulation. So Scheme does have some affordances for performance like vectors. Vectors are also what structs are built on in Scheme. Basically, a record type or a struct gets boiled down to a vector, which the setters and getters of all the fields for the record type are just wrapping a direct index into a vector at a specific index. So the defined record syntax just boils down to creating functions that wrap calls into a vector. Okay, loop, index plus 1, vector ref piles, index, and result null. So result starts as true. And let me put the final case here. Result. There we go. So if the pile at a given index is null, which means it's an empty list, then that's true. So true and true is true. But if it's not null, then this and is going to make the result false for all future calls. I mean, technically speaking, we should just bail out right then and not loop further. So maybe should I... Yeah, I don't want to have to go through the entire list. If index is less than 7... If and result, I mean, we can assume it's true by that point. And result, maybe I don't even need the result, right? If it's null, you just keep looping. Otherwise, you return false. I think that's right. So if null, keep looping to the next one because we're checking to make sure that they're all null. And if we get to the end, if the index is equal to 7, we return true. Otherwise, we break out with false. Okay. That will tell us if we've won. It'd be nice if I could emulate a game state that would put us in that position already. I might be able to. How could I do that? Let's take that vector 4 each out. So also move card. Every time we move the card, we should check the game state. So handle selection, move card. I should also set something for that, probably. All right, so then then that would need to be sent in the get game state. Okay. Probably that needs to be attached to the end, in fact. So I could go to the end of the list. So we got the selection here. And then I could write out something for P for playing, but we'll just sort of ignore that value maybe. Now let's go recompile this. Okay, possibly unbound variable stack, null stack. Okay, stock. Glad the compiler caught that. All right, so now we have P as the state of the game here in the output. You finally understand what W and L are? Yeah, those are memes, right? Now it makes sense. When someone says they've taken an L, that means they've taken a loss, or they've lost. They lose. Dub or W, win. Okay, so we can check if we won. How do we know if we've lost? Actually, I should probably just call that check game state, right? Set game result. Well, let's not do that yet. All right, so how do we check if we've lost? That's trickier because what we have to do is run through all of the board positions and see if there are any possible moves, which means looking at every card in the stack and trying to find out if there's another card I can move to. Now, that's kind of a complex algorithm, and I don't know if there's a more efficient way to do it. So you basically have to look at this, like let's say this queen card here, and then look at every other possible position, any foundation that has cards on it. Have to look to see if it can be moved there, and then possibly moving to any other pile. But you also have to look at the higher cards in any pile to see if they can be moved anywhere either. Is it possible to lose in Solitaire? Yeah, you can get yourself into a position where there's no more moves available. Where there's no more moves unless you undo something you did to continue in another path. Let's think about this for a second. The brute force algorithm is, I mean, you also have to check every card that's remaining in the stock too to see if any stock cards can be playable. So I guess really what you need. Number one is a function. Is card playable? At a given position. So let's say it's kind of like the find card situation where for the different, oh, come on. That's not what I did. Find card, define. Like in Mahjong? Yeah, what was I doing in Mahjong? Because I think I had some logic for that. Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway. All right. I'm dropping this in just for a moment. This is not the right thing to do. So the position is going to be the same as a selection, let's say. Selection target. So, first of all, I need to get the card. That works. Let's just call it selection because that's technically the same thing. Probably should call that location instead of selection. Will I count movements? Time? Time maybe, yeah. But probably not for the end of this game jam because I won't have time to do it. But I think I'm going to end up working on this game some more. If there are other game jams that are open to people like continuing working on a particular game, I might do that. I'm thinking about doing another jam in December. I may not stream it as much as I streamed this one though, because I don't know. I don't know how you feel, but in 2-hour increments, there's not enough time to get a lot done. And I don't know how interesting it is to watch this whenever there isn't a lot of progress happening. Like there was a lot of progress happening in maybe the first 2 streams because I was able to get a lot of new stuff started, but now we're getting into the part where, you know, all the logic is a lot more complicated to implement. So Mish says, brute force is bad, I think. Yeah, it is bad. At the moment, I don't have time to think of a better solution, but I think I'll try to think about that while I'm off stream. And brute force is not efficient, but I wouldn't say bad. Well, brute force gets the job done, but if you have to recalculate this after every single move, you know what? That's kind of that's a possible solution. Well, yes, for every card, let's say this. When you assemble the board, for every card, for every playable card, you could store a list of possible moves for it. And maybe you only invalidate that whenever that card is affected by a move. So for instance, if you move a card onto this 9 of spades here, if you move a card on top of that, then, well, it affects cards that can move to it. A Kite says, damn, now I have a character that's able to fall on the screen and I may now want to actually try to reach the deadline. Yeah, you better not overstress yourself to finish it, I would say. Maybe you can if you want, but I'm not going to do that. Benoit says, get working is more important to get good on the first implementation. Yeah, for sure. Mish says, maybe better to find at least one possible move. Yeah, I think there's maybe something to the idea that you could pre-calculate moves for certain cards. Or maybe moves that are possible to a given location. Maybe that's a better way to do it. So what you could do is say, like, maybe there's a certain number of cards that can be moved to this position. And whenever you, let's say the ace could go here, but if you put something on top of the, well, you can't put anything on top of the ace, so that doesn't work. But maybe let's say if there was an ace of diamonds already here, and you could put the 2 on top of that. Well, yeah, I guess you could put some other ace on top of the 2. That couldn't be moved there anymore, so that invalidates that. There's probably an approach for this. I'll have to keep thinking about it. If anybody has thoughts on it, yeah, hit me up on Faucet or Mastodon or in the comments afterward. All right, so is card playable? Find card selection. Yeah, now we just have to basically check. So for every card, check if it's playable. But I think we need to think about that a little bit first to come up with a good strategy here. All right, so where are we with the code? Let me just check what we've done so far. So we've gotten Substack movements working, which is awesome. I'm glad that that's better. We've got actual selection drawing done. Yeah, so if I take a D, I can put it over in the foundation. I can also select that and put it somewhere else if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. So yeah, drawing highlights on the cards, and also just some basic initial stuff. Selection offset code we added. Basic checking of win state. Improve the card movement code. A lot of thick stuff in here. Moving card. Let's delete that little line here. We don't need that anymore. Okay. Cool. So that's pretty much it for today. I think I don't have more time, so I'm gonna have to call the stream here. But I'm gonna be thinking about lose state checking, so that maybe we can get that implemented fast tomorrow. In fact, let's go ahead and let's see. How can I commit this? Implement Substack selection and movements card highlighting. This code is now pushed. Whoops. This code is now pushed to the Codeberg repositories. So if you want to go take a look at that code, you can go to codeberg.org/fluxharmonic/ALGJ2023 Cybersol. It's in the description. Also, there's a link to the website where you can play it if you want to check it out yourself. But you have to have Chrome Unstable Dev installed. And also, you have to know what keys to press to do things in the game. Just look at the code where it says handle input, and this is the key bindings. You can kind of take a look at those. All right, folks, thanks for being here today. I appreciate everybody paying attention and then catching all my mistakes so that I can make things go a little bit more smoothly. I don't know. I should have been a little more prepared, but that's okay. I spent a lot of time making the board look cool, and I think that was a success. All right, tomorrow will be the last stream. In theory, is the last stream I'll do. I mean, it's possible I could do something. No. It's probably not going to happen on Monday. Okay. Tomorrow, I'll do the last stream for the jam, and then we'll try to get as much done as possible. Then I'll do the submission of the game. But I'm still going to work on this. I think it's going to be a fun game to play, especially whenever it is a bit easier to understand how to play it. Maybe people will like it, and they'll go back to the site to play it. Cool. Well, thanks for being here, folks. Appreciate it. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Until next time, keep it creative. We'll see you.